So this week's episode is very meta, or I guess today's episode. We have a bunch of episodes per week. But yeah, I got featured on Cool Tools by Mark Frauenfelder, who's super awesome, does Boing Boing and Make Magazine and stuff, and Kevin Kelly, who's done a bunch of cool tech guru things. Anyway, they have this podcast called Cool Tools that has some amazing people featured on it, including Becky Stern and, Carrie from Mythbusters and Scotty Allen, who built his own iPhone in Shenzhen and got super famous for it. Also happens to hang out at Noisebridge Hackerspace. Super cool. Obviously, all the cool kids are there. Anyway, so I talked about a few tools, and since the podcast is only 30 minutes long, I also wrote a blog post today about other sweet tools that you might want to use that weren't able to fit in the podcast. So what I'm going to do is first go over the ones that we did talk about. I've got some examples for you here, and then also I'm going to take you through a few of the extras, because it's super cool. So first up, this one isn't directly electronics related, but Picasso, the app, is by one of my friends, and it helps you make neural style transfer style images. So in this case, I've taken some alchemical symbols and mashed them up with the Arduino schematic to create basically like machine magic type symbols. And this is something that I'm really into right now. And what I'm doing here is basically adjusting the amount that the style transfer is applied. So here it's mostly the original alchemical symbols, and here it's mostly looking like the Arduino schematic. So the structure retains its original shape, but all the details are done in the style of this image that you applied. So here's the original alchemy symbols, and there's the Arduino. But yeah, anyway, you can export it and stuff. Don't want to spend too much time on that because it's just software, although it's really cool. This is one of the tools. So yeah, I mentioned this is going to get meta. We talked a lot about the tools that I use for live streaming, like I'm doing right now. And one of them is this USB HDMI capture device, which people always ask about when I'm doing other stuff. So if you've got, for example, a Raspberry Pi, anytime that I'm showing video from a mini PC or something like that, I have basically got the HDMI output, for example, of the Pi. I use this for tutorials and stuff, hooked up to here. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to show you what it is and let you listen to the podcast for the rest, because, yeah, anyway, this is the HDMI thing. It's much better described in the podcast, and I just stick this end USB into my computer, it becomes a webcam. Yeah, super cool. What else have we got? We've got Open Broadcasting Studio. That's what I'm coming to you from live right now. So I've got, this little bar with all the words on it and stuff. That's an image layer for the bar with our logo and Hackster.io on it. And then there's a text box that says / cool tools and more. And I'm noticing it's a little misaligned right now. Oh no. And I got a big logo behind me on the wall, but I could be in front of a green screen if I wanted to. And then I've got like my screen capture here. And if we wanted to, we could switch to the webcam that I have over on the side here. Say hi, webcam. It's right here. That's another audio input. And I've got a little lavalier mic here that I clip on. And that's an audio source, but I could also switch to the straight up computer microphone. How does that work? I bet that's weird. Anyway, back to the lavalier, because our neighbors are being super noisy as always. Yeah, so that's the third tool. I'm also using Restream.io right now, because OBS is streaming to an address at Restream, and Restream is splitting that and sending it to Facebook and YouTube, and also to Twitch. Even though I never update the descriptions on those videos, it does exist. If you want to follow us on Twitch, you totally can. It's Hackster.io, just like everything else. And then finally, 3D Hubs. I use this all the time. I send friends to this all the time. It's super good. You can check it out at 3dhubs.com. Basically, people in all places all over the world ready to print your stuff, and I use it especially if I'm going somewhere for an event and I want to have something printed there. so I can just have it sent to the hotel, and it's really fast and stuff. It's great. And also it's really great for people who are just starting out with 3D printing and modeling, and they want to take out part of the hassle of that learning curve, so they can just get the modeling done, and then they can get it printed and stuff. Or if I design something for a friend, and they can get it printed. On to the honorable mentions, which I just published. Disk inventory X. I'm working with video. My hard drive gets filled up like that, and I use this to find the huge files and delete them or move them off onto a USB stick or whatever. It's great. I mentioned Space Hogs in reference to large files, but it's also a good band that you should totally check out. Starside is a good song. Anyway, also the Light Blue Bean. So this is one of my favorite little microcontrollers ever. And I'm not lying, I said it in the blog post, I said it recently in a Throwback Thursday because unfortunately it's been discontinued, but it has been open for development, and I'm really hoping somebody picks it up as an open source project and creates it. So I've got this like hologram machine that I updated to work with a read relay and the Light Blue Bean, and I can control this from my phone. I can switch stuff on and off. I can even reprogram it with Arduino code from my phone. It's got Bluetooth low energy, it's got an RGB LED, it's got a 3-axis accelerometer. It's way overpowered for what I'm doing with it, but it's so good and versatile. And I've literally been standing in line at a science hack day with a light-up tattoo on my arm attached to one of those, reprogramming it with my phone to get it to look better as I waited to present in like 3 minutes, and it worked. I managed to like update the firmware on the thing and reprogram it, and then like it started blinking and it looked awesome, and I was really excited. So that is the Light Blue Bean. Oh, you know what? I should pull up that LED tattoo project too. That one was awesome. Pardon me. There's also a weird face language thing you can hear about. Liddy Hollow is the holography kit that I use to create holograms, which you'll also see in where did it go? In the HoloClock project that I mentioned up there. This guy has a laser in it that I use to make little holograms with little glass plates, and it makes basically creating true holograms very simple. You can do it in like 5 to 10 minutes. All you need is a really dark room that's really still. You don't need a wet lab to develop anything, and by true holograms, totally look it up. It's such a fascinating science. It uses little invisible bumps in chemical emulsions or plastic to create a really complex lens that basically reflects light as though the object were still behind it, and it's so cool. There's lots of imposters like Pepper's Ghost, the Tupac thing, or Hatsune Miku, the awesome pop star who's like a hologram, but she's really a projection. It's not the same thing. Princess Leia is not real yet. This is the closest we got. It's really cool. And then finally, Archimedes, who's currently in the shop, uses a bunch of this bike leather stuff, which is what I call bicycle inner tubes, which is super useful for creating harnesses and things. Here I've got him covering some armature wire that holds the harness together. Yeah. Oh boy, he's missing a wing. He's in the shop. His servo's a little wonky right now, but we'll have him back shipshape in a while. And then finally, one thing that really is useful to me and has been useful as we were just getting the Hackster community started is a code of conduct, and we have one of those at Hackster.io/conduct. The nice thing is we don't have to use it very much, but if you are curious, it's there. Code of conduct protects everyone. It protects me as the person who has to be the bad guy and kick people out if they do anything super horrendous, which, you know, the vast majority of people don't do, but if you're worried about it, you read the code of conduct, and then you don't do the things, and you're fine. It's great. So this is something that I think is vastly underestimated and often an afterthought in technical communities, but there's a couple of groups that have really good ones that you can basically copy and adapt for your own space. So I've linked to those in here. This is an example of Nerd Rage. Yeah, so 3D Hubs. I mentioned 3D Hubs a second ago. We also have an article about how to make money with 3D printing. That was an interview that I did with Jason Reynolds, who is a professional 3D printing guy, has a bunch of 3D printers in his house. That's his job. He also like gives talks and workshops and stuff. But yeah, that's all he does is 3D print all day, and it's super legit. And he talked about what it's like to work for 3D hubs and how you can get started and stuff. Super cool. If you're curious about that robot owl I just showed, it's linked all over the place. And yeah, check out, once again, the Cool Tools podcast. There's tons of cool people on this. I promise this is not just an exercise in narcissism. It's a little bit of that, but it's not all that. This guy, Tom Fassbender. If I didn't have my plugin on, it would show you their actual photo. Oh, there we go. Becky Stern. You know, this guy, that guy. Oh, Todd Kurt, cool. Yeah. We know a bunch of these neat people. Scotty Allen came to Noisebridge and did a video. Carrie Byron from Mythbusters. I'm sure you will find some of your nerd heroes here. Bob Claggett, and there's a bunch of really neat humans. Oh, Zach Supala from Particle! I've listened to a few of the other episodes, and they're totally legit. Plus, for any one of them, you can go, let's see what Zach recommended. There's a text version as well. So, you can always find that and just follow along. Then if you go to blog.hackster.io, you will find not only this, but also much other excellent content from our many writers, curated by Artie Beavis, our amazing social media guy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this. Yeah, I do want to see what Zach recommends. Email software, Glowforge, we have a Glowforge. Bullet journal, okay, yeah. AeroPress, that's great. Quick note, the AeroPress was invented by the same company that makes the Aerobee rubber frisbee, which is a great frisbee, and they make a great coffee machine too. Anyway, so go check those out. Have an awesome rest of your What the Wednesday, and we will catch you tomorrow. Gonna be at Hope Conference this weekend, so I hope to see you there. Ciao!